Some of the kids said they tried to work here when they were younger, but they kept falling off the box at the dishwasher, so they had to quit until they were tall enough to work here.
There are a few things that make America great. Pure Americana is found right here in Oakley, Utah, in the form of the Rhode Island Diner. It's a great place that goes back several years and gives you nostalgia, great food, and an opportunity to experience a jukebox and amazing things that your grandparents did. Check it out on your long way home as we step back into history at the Rhode Island Grill in Oakley, Utah. This is really an amazing place. It takes you back in time. Tell us a little bit about the philosophy of the organization.
Well, it was a diner in 1939. It was the show model at the 1939 World Trade Fair in New York City. So it was the best of the best. Up here we have Tiffany glass in the windows up here and Tiffany in the lights. The fixtures aren't the same because they were kind of rusted and rotted. And so everything's been replicated and done exactly like it was in 1939.
This wasn't necessarily on a railroad car, correct?
No, it was never on a railroad car. It was the Art Deco fad at the time to have these pre-made diners. There were several companies that did this. This one was from the Old Mahoney Dining Factory in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
What brought you to the Rhode Island Diner today?
You did.
It's good.
We followed you all the way here.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about this place?
It's really unique. It's great. I'm excited to try the food.
I've never been in a diner car like this. It's pretty neat.
When I walked in, they tried to joke with me that there were no bathrooms when this was originally built, so we were going to have to go outside to an outhouse. Sarcasm is my second job, so I knew there was a bathroom here. Didn't go outside to use the outhouse.
How did this come to be from New Jersey all the way to Oakley, Utah?
Okay, so there was a gentleman, his name was Keith Walker, and his whole entire life he'd wanted to have a restaurant, and he wanted to have a diner in particular. And he was perusing online one night and he saw this online, so he looked it up and he bought it. And then he had it trucked all the way out here, and then once he got it in place, he pretty much gutted the place and restored it back to where it was. About $1.5 million worth of restoration.
So the decor, the tile, the chairs, everything, do you kind of feel like you're going in the past?
Absolutely. I love how they kept it the same. They kept it original, and it's just a fun environment for everybody.
I think it's amazing how authentic this place is. An establishment or a restaurant that is owned by an individual and he's put his heart and soul into it, it means a lot. It means the food's going to be better. It means that you're going to have an experience rather than just a check at the end and a upset stomach.
Through the restoration, when they pulled up this green terrine Italian marble, they found out the serial number on the bottom, and they looked up, and that's how they found out it was the show model at the World Trade Fair in 1939. Otherwise, they never would have known. He took this all off and had oiled and pressed and cleaned up, and I mean, he's just taken the stools and the legs on the tables that were so rusted that he had new molds made. He had them recast and re-chromed. Same thing with all the jukeboxes on the table. They were all rusted out. He had them reprogrammed, it all sanded down and re-chromed. And now they kind of run through an iPod and a computer. But all the jukeboxes work. You put your money in and we change them out, the songs out every couple of months or so.
Now push A, 4. Now, what you can do is listen, and that song will come on in a few minutes and it will play. And that's how we used to play our own music. What do you think about that?
That's cool.
And have you kids ever seen anything like that before? You know, that's how we used to play music. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? Why is it named the Rhode Island Diner?
Well, it was originally brought from Rhode Island, the state, but the person who did this owned this little triangle piece of property up here on the road. And it was an island in the road. So as a play on words, he did Rhode Island Diner and as coming from Rhode Island. So that's how it got called Rhode Island. But then the state and the city discovered there was not enough room for parking. So he swapped that lot for this lot from the city. Now we're on the corner of State Road 32 and Weber Canyon Road.
It's a beautiful drive all the way up here, and it's a fun little area that I don't think most of us in Utah even think to come up here. Why would you unless you're coming up to the diner?
So it's more about an experience and a great night out that will really soon not long be forgotten.
Yes, absolutely.
This is one of 4 of these.
There's 4 left in existence. Yep, one in St. Paul, one in New Jersey, and one in Connecticut, and then this one. These are the last 4 of this model. There are several around of different companies that have made that, but these are the last 4 of this particular model.
Morning.
You worked here for how long?
I just started this year. Earlier this spring, I was looking for some extra work, and around my birthday, my friend said she wanted to take me to dinner, and she chose this place. Back where I'm from, diners are a big thing, so I got very excited about that. And by the time I was done and leaving, I was asking for a job.
That's really cool. So where are you from?
I'm from upstate New York, near the Massachusetts, Connecticut tri-state area. And as we waited for our dinner, we were looking at our special book here, and it turns out in one of the pages is a diner from back home. And I felt really at home, and I saw that connection, and I was just like, this is the place. So, and I always work at a place where there's super good food.
We have a lot of people that have made pilgrimages here, and they came here when they were little kids, and when their grandpa was here, and their dad was here, and they would sit here at the bar and talk to Tommy, who'd be cooking them breakfast right here on the spot, and just serving up real food. Okay, who's having the chocolate shake? Me. Okay, and there's a little bit extra in there. There's a couple of big straws.
I know it's like asking what your favorite child is, but what do you like making the most?
I don't really have a favorite. I love making soups every day. The meatloaf is one of the favorites around here, and we put a lot of love putting that together.
I've honestly never been to a dining car so to eat, so it's the great food so far.
We think that food needs to be done from scratch. We don't take anything out of a box or a bag or anything like that. It's all made right here on premise. We roast prime rib every day. We do corned beef. We do turkey. All that, French fries, ice creams, everything right from scratch here. A real diner should have real diner food, and that's kind of our philosophy. That's what we're going with.
Everybody's welcome. We love to feed you. That's our passion, is to make everybody happy.
This gives you a chance to kind of look back in the past and see kind of the food that your grandparents, would enjoy and what things looked like.
A lot of times we have kids in here with their grandparents and stuff, and they're all texting, and I go, let me tell you a secret. If you put your phone away and you talk to your grandpa and you look around, when you get to be my age, you'll remember this. The second year that I owned it, a 75-year-old gentleman who grew up 2 blocks from this diner drove all the way out here to sit on that 3rd stool right there. He said when he was 9 years old, he came in every Saturday and he'd drink a root beer float, and then he would spin around until he got sick. And I said, didn't you learn the first time? He said, oh, we were poor. It tasted just as good the second time. It was like 2 for 1. So anyway, he drove all the way out here and sat on that stool, drank a root beer float, spun around a couple times, told a couple stories, and then went home.
There's a lot of great memory and soul here for a lot of people.
A lot of people, and I think that that's really the character of this place, is that it makes a great connection for people. That's how I ended up here.
This is the very diner that came from the 1939 World's Fair, and it's your opportunity to come in and have an experience that will walk you back into history. The Rhode Island Diner, Oakley, Utah. Check it out on your long way home.